In today's class, we'll be learning about the different sectors of our economy. We learned already about the economic activities in our ninth standard economics. There we have seen economic activities can be classified into primary, secondary, and tertiary sector activities according to the nature of work. So in this text, in this chapter also, we are going to start with that. What kind of activities are considered to be primary sector activities? And here you can see all those activities which is very closely associated with the nature, like extraction of natural resources, comes under the primary sector activities. And few examples are given here that what are the primary sector activities, and examples given here are agriculture, dairy, fishing, forestry, etc. All agriculture and its related activities comes under primary sector activities. Then comes the secondary sector activities. Here what you have to remember while writing the answer, you should include this manufacturing. This is one of the characteristics of primary sector activities. And similarly, the industrial activities, that's without the help of industries, processing will not be taking place. So this sector is also known as industrial sector. It can be small scale or big industries, but in this case, the making of sugar we learned in the previous class, that is considered to be a cottage industry. So it can be a big industry or small industry, but any kind of industrial activities or manufacturing activities, if it is there, we can call it as secondary sector activities. And the third thing is tertiary sector, that is all the services what aid or support the production process. The primary and secondary production process comes under tertiary sector activities. Again, few examples are given here that banking is a communication, storage, all that comes under tertiary sector activities. And this sector is known as service sector. Apart from all this, there is one more category which comes under the service sector is essential services, like the work of teachers, doctors, and other people who are serving the people. Essential services are provided by this group of people, that also will come under services sector. So these are the three different sectors of economic activities. In this part, we'll be comparing the three different sectors as we compared the countries on the basis of per capita income. We classified in the same way. Here also we are making a comparison between the three different sectors. What is the purpose for this comparison? There are two main purposes for the comparison of these sectors. One is to know which sector have a larger number of people working in them. That is one of the purposes of which sector is creating more employment opportunities. So where larger number of people are working. And second purpose, how much goods and services are produced from each sector. So these are the two purposes, how many people are working and how much goods and services are produced. Then let us see how the comparison is done. Before moving on to that, we will see what is GDP. We have already learned in the previous class that total income divided by population and the income of the people living in the country, all this we take into consideration for the calculation of per capita income. And another such important concept that comes in economics is gross domestic product or GDP. It is the value of all final goods and services produced in each sector in a particular year. So that is what we call as gross domestic product or GDP. And in India, that work is done by a separate central government ministry. So you should remember all this can be asked as a 1 mark question. That's why I am telling. And as I told, what is this final goods? That is what comes in the beginning of that, under that subheading. It is final goods and services. It is written in bold letters here. It is the goods that reach the consumers. So final good means that is the goods that reach the consumers. In between, in the process of manufacturing the final good, there are different stages involved. That is explained, very well explained, with the example of manufacturing of biscuit. So here, the basic raw material is wheat. Wheat is converted into wheat flour, and from the wheat flour, it is uh, again changing the shape into biscuits. So if you are adding the value of wheat used in the manufacturing of biscuit, there is a probability of calculating the value of wheat twice or thrice. In order to avoid that, we are taking only the value of final commodity or that which reaches the consumer. And then what is the other, what do we call the other uh, goods that is consumed? That is known as the intermediate goods, that is used up in the production of final goods and services. So you can get a question to differentiate between final good and intermediate good. So what you will write, the final good is goods are those goods which reach the consumers, and the intermediate goods that is used up in the production of final goods and services. So these are the major concepts that comes in this part, that final goods, intermediate goods, GDP, and how it is calculated. You can take your notebook and write down the questions for this part. First question: what are the three different sectors of economic activity? Give examples for each. What are the three different sectors of economic activity? Give examples for each. You will get the answer from this page itself. Then the second question: what kind of services are included in essential services? What kind of services are included in essential services? There you can write the examples from this page, which are not directly involved in the production of goods, but they are required, and the examples that you can give. Then the third question, you can write what is GDP? What is GDP? And who calculates it in India? What is GDP? Who calculates it in India? And one more question is there: differentiate between final goods and intermediate goods. Differentiate between final goods and intermediate goods. Three questions for today.